Oh, well, I've been, sitting here listening to all these rumors, weirdness, and um, everybody's claiming this is going to happen, that's going to happen. It's like, folks, it is February going into March. And as far as I know, like I said, unless there are stuff going on, the BBC has no idea what they're doing. There's been all these rumors about such and such is going to take over, this is going to take over. I want to see something on legitimate news because Reddit and all that, there are some good sources out there. Most of the time, it's a crapshoot. I don't like sitting here making rolling dice, hoping I hit the right number. And you know, I want to hear something from someone, someone solid. I want to hear something, for one of my sources that I know are solid before I start jumping up and down, going such and such is going to take over Doctor Who, and that such and such is going to be the next Doctor, and yada yada bang bang, because they knew since last year, after the last episode aired and Disney's phone did, the Disney phone didn't ring. It's kind of like the red line from Moscow they claimed the president had, except there, the BBC had this black phone that was mounted on the desk somewhere, and it had little mouse ears on it, and that phone never rang. It's or it did ring and goes, well, we're out. Yeah. By the way, we want our phone, Mickey phone back. Well, here it's not doing nothing yet, but it has been a lot warmer this week so far than it has been. It went up to almost 50 degrees yesterday, which was nice because I could actually see my driveway again after the last month or so, and everything was drip, drip, patter, patter, and as per, like many places I've worked, the ceiling, of course, has started dripping because all the snow melt off the top. Um, okay, let me get caught up on the chat here. Okay, I died laughing because I found out somebody I know actually went to Galileo, and I'm like, dude, you live just outside of London. You probably spent more flying to, paying for tickets, and your overnight or whatever, your hotel stay than you did for every other convention you've ever attended that was literally right downtown from you combined. And that's before you get to the autograph and photo prices. I'm like, why? Why did you go halfway around the planet to do something you can do readily in your own country? Especially to California. I don't even want to go think about California right now. Ugh. A lot of crazy stuff going on out there. That's what I like about living out here in the sticks. It's generally pretty quiet. We don't have protests. We don't have just stop oil. We don't have blah blah this and all that. Um, because they know better. Oh, so deadly recent interviews. Okay, what's that about? Oh, you're talking about Deadline. Uh, like I said, I want something more solid than that. Why? Or do you fear my head? Does my head scare you? Look at all that. Oh, yes. I know it is just disturbing you. You pooped your pants in high school. Well, I'm glad you shared that moment with us. Well, if I had Grand Theft Auto, I'd care. I don't know. Like I said, I've never played it. Uh, Judging from your picture, it looks like you've been jerking off too much. If that and a bit of money, that's probably not even your real picture. But okay. So Noel Clark got arrested again in the UK. Okay. Oh, hey. It's like, dude. It's like. It's like that song by the Georgia Satellites. Don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself, Noel. You could, it's like, what were you thinking? Me, I don't like touching anybody for any reason, unless, I'm just weird like that. I know, there's been a lot of forestation going on Baldus. Look at that. I think life is trying to return there, though it'll be meager and fleeting. Yeah, I wish they'd, I hope they deliver some justice on Noel Clark and leave poor John Barrowman alone. Sheesh. Nah, there's no hope of that happening. Hair left me a long time ago and it will never return. It kind of teases me, It's like, oh look, I'm sprouting up, and then nothing else happens. Oh well. Oh, so you're actually buying the formaldehyde story, dude? Pick up any. Just go to your local vape store. You don't have to buy anything. Pick up most vape brands, and there's like 5, maybe 6 ingredients. None of them being formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is one of the 1,000 plus chemicals that are in cigarettes, though. But as I tell people, if you have never touched a nicotine product, don't. Don't do it. Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to fly to the other side of the planet when you live in the country where the show is produced. And you have cons where literally all these same stars are literally not even an hour away from you. Or 2 at the most. But no, I have to fly literally, I don't even want to know how many hours, and it depends on if, how many interconnecting flights going through how many airports, and to spend thousands of dollars just on your tickets, your hotel stay, I don't even want to know how much the airline fees were. And you've probably right there alone have spent more just getting there and getting a hotel room and paying for your tickets than you did for every other convention you've attended in your life, all combined. And for what? For the clout of saying, oh look, I went to Shitstown. No, that's San. That was San. Whatever. But okay. What's that? San Francisco where they had all the poop? I don't know. But my hair fled me a long time ago. Exactly. You can see all these guests not even 1 to 2 hours away. But for some reason, they've made it this mandatory mission. Because a bunch of these, Brits fly out there. I'm like, dude, all you're showing me is you're damn stupid. The way the world is right now, ugh. I look at it this way. I really wish they had put in a bullet train or something, because then I would consider doing it. But I'm like, even then, I would be there for a day trip and come home. But of course, we're never going to get a bullet train because there's no way the United States is ever going to get rid of some of the rail out there is up to 2 centuries old. It would cost several $billions just to, set up the foundation for the infrastructure for us to have high-speed trains here in the U.S. And they're never going to do it. But at the same time, I don't want to lose the rail system because there's a lot of people who still make, their living, on trains and such. But Well, like I said, they're from what I heard, they're shutting the yeah, like someone just said, they're shutting the doors on that pretty soon anyway. And I'm like, Chicago Tardis, that's a stretch for me. Like I said, that's a long drive for us. And we just spend the night and come home the next day. It's to get here. All right, let's put it to you this way: to drive by car. I think the fastest my dad ever made Mississippi was like 14 hours. Okay, and that's literally over the course of like one day. He didn't stop. Okay, depends on what route you take and what you call it. So I don't even in Florida. I can't remember how long it used to take us to make to Florida because we'd visit relatives in Mississippi, their relatives and such, and then we would spend the night there or whatever, a night or two, and then we'd go to Florida if we were going. So yeah, it's a long ass drive, and for us, we definitely have to stop and then spend another day driving just to get to where we're going. I have no idea what you're going on about the EV virus. But it is something I'll have to look into now because now you're intriguing the shit out of me. Okay, nothing surprised me anymore. It's just now people are finding out we were dropping anthrax in North Korea um, as part of an experiment. Uh, God knows, yeah, like I said, it wasn't until years later we found out we had entire sections of guys, who were given, who had syphilis and they weren't treated because they wanted to see how bad could get. Meanwhile, one shot of one antibiotic, they'd have been fine. Um, Trust me, there's not one country anymore left on the planet who can walk around saying we're the white hats, we're the good guys, because, ugh. That's what I mean. I can't figure out why anybody would, go through all this trouble, waste all that money to go to the other side of the planet to do something you could do that's less than an hour or two away from your own home. And a lot of the people you're going to meet are already there. And a lot of the, stars and, guests are going to be there. Probably more than you're going to get, out there. But still, but at least they gave Millie Gibbo a free trip to LA, Like I said, she probably spent most of it sliding resumes under doors and hoping to land that big Hollywood job, that'll pay off just about everything in its grandmother, compared to what they're making in the UK. Do you think the kidnappers release that Good Tree mom once her ransom is paid? I have no idea. I have to look into that. I really, like I said, I've spent the last couple days listening to the World War Z full audio cast version. So like I said, I've tuned out the news pretty much. So, I died laughing though because there was this one true crime cast I did like, and who they have on there to interview? John Bennett Ramsey, because he's still trying to push this story that a guy broke into their house in the middle of the night and apparently had the intent of finding his way through this maze in the dark to do whatever he was going to do to his daughter. Now, sometime before or after that, this guy stood there in their kitchen or whatever, pulled a pad out while in the house, using a pen from the house, and wrote a 3-page ransom letter standing there in the dark, knowing full well any minute somebody wakes up, he's busted, after either having killed the daughter or done whatever, and then fled off into the night, leaving not a single track in the snow. Like I said, trust me, when you read about the case, it is more and more likely that one of 3 people killed that young lady, and they were all in that house that night. And I think it's a cover-up because I think like I said, in my opinion, the brother did it. But like I said, we ain't got time to go into that right now because we're at the 15-minute mark. So please, everyone, take care of yourselves out there. Be kind, be calm, be safe. Friday approaches. It approaches slowly, but it's getting here. So take care of yourselves. We'll catch you all on the flip side. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.